Jai Gauranita, 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 Jai Jai Gauranita. Nita Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Jai Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagala Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam
Time for our Chidarat, your name or
Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namosate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. From today we'll be starting with the chapter 15, that is spontaneous devotional service. Write down the words, somebody has to put in the group. 270 to 270 onwards to 287. So we have 18 verses, 270 to 287. Okay, is it shared in the screen? 270th verse, 1.2.270. Atha Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga means spontaneous love for Krishna. Something known as Vaidhi Bhakti, something known as Raganuga Bhakti. In Sadhana Bhakti also, you have two types. That is, one is Vaidhi Bhakti, following the rules and regulations and then performing the devotional service. One is Raganuga Bhakti, spontaneously having love for Krishna. Let us see. Atha Raganuga Virajantim Abhivyaktam Vrajavasi Janadishu Ragatmika Manushrata Yasa Raganugochiyate. So here Rupa Goswami describes Raganuga Bhakti is defined as that Bhakti which follows after the Ragatmika Bhakti found distinctively in the inhabitants of Braja. Ragatmika Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti. You should understand it very nicely. Ragatmika Bhakti are the Brajavasis. They have spontaneous love for Krishna, no doubt. They are the inhabitants of Braja. Following their footprints, they are Raganuga Bhaktas. Ragatmika Bhakti, following in the footprints of them, are the Raganuga Bhaktas. That is called Raganuga Bhakti, which follows after the Ragatmika Bhakti, which manifests Virajantim distinctively, Abhivyaktam, in the inhabitants of Braja. So they spontaneously they follow. Who? Raganuga. Anugaha means following the footprints of the Brajavasis. Okay, Dayasagar Prabhu, please read. We will be also doing out 271 and then you read. 1 minute. Raganuga Vivekartham Adau Ragatmikochyate. In order to define Raganuga Bhakti, First, Ragatmika Bhakti should be discussed. Just see. You are following whom? Ragatmika Bhaktas. If you are a Raganuga Bhakta, you are following Ragatmika Bhakta. So then we should know who are Ragatmika Bhaktas. That is why discussion of Ragatmika Bhaktas is very much important. Then only we can know who are Raganuga Bhaktas. So 270 and 271 is there in the first verse. First paragraph. Okay, read. There, Sagar Prabhu, please read. Okay, I think some problem. Hansarupi
Hare
Prabhu,
Krishna
please read.
Mataji,
Okay, read.
Dandavat Pranam. Chapter 15, Spontaneous Devotional Service. Example of spontaneous devotional service can easily be seen in Krishna's direct associates in Vrindavana. The spontaneous dealings of the residents of Vrindavana is in a relationship with Krishna are called Raganuga. These beings don't have to learn anything about the devotional service. They are already perfect in all regulative principles and have achieved the spontaneous, loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For example, the cowherd boys who are playing with Krishna do not have to learn by austerities or penance or yogic practice how to play with him. They have passed all tests of regulative principles in their previous lives, and as a result, they are not elevated to the position of direct association with Krishna as his dear friends. Their spontaneous attitude is called Raganuga Bhakti.
Yes, the spontaneous attitude is called Raganuga Bhakti. So let us see now 272 verse. So here, so nice, the first line you see, these beings don't have to learn anything about devotional service. They are already perfect in regulative principles. Because they have got that love for Krishna. Simple to understand is, suppose I want to wake up early in the morning. In Vaidhi Bhakti, I have to keep some alarm. After that alarm rings also 10 times, I find it very difficult to wake up. And so I need some assistant to wake me up. But if I have that love for Krishna, I will automatically wake up. That is the difference. You don't need some assistance for waking up. Automatically you have love. You don't need any alarm, nothing. Okay, 272. Ishte swarasiki ragah paramavishtata bhavet tanmaya bhavet bhakti satra ragatmikodita. So what is the meaning of raga? Raga means spontaneous, deep thirst for the object of love. You love someone, you will be ready to do anything and everything for that person. So that is devotion. Like what is surrenderance? You are ready to do anything and everything, like Srila Prabhupada. When just Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur told you have to go to West, he did anything and everything for his good. That is raga. That means that much love for the Lord. Bhakti that is impelled exclusively by such thirst is called Ragatmika Bhakti. So, what is Ragatmika? That Bhakti which has that thirst for that love for Krishna. Ishte. Ishte means to whom you have so much of sentiments. That is Ishte. In this only 273 verse also comes. Sa kama rupa sambandha rupa cheti bhavet vidha. There are two types of Ragatmika Bhaktas. One who has conjugal love. That is Kama Rupa. Now these are the two types of Rajavasis. One who has Kama Rupa, Ragatmika, and one that is impelled by other relationships, Sambandha Rupa, like parental love, Sakhya Rasa, that all comes in Sambandha Rupa. Now you have to make like this chart. Ragatmika Rupa. Then you have two categories. Kama Rupa, Sambandha Rupa. Who are Raganuga? Following the Ragatmikas. Simple. So Kama Rupa, Bhakti which is Rupyate, Bhakti which is impelled by conjugal love, that is Kama. Kama. Bhakti which is impelled by thirst of other relationship like Sakhya, Dasya, parental, Vatsalya, this. Okay, that is there in the second paragraph. Continue, Dayasagar Prabhu.
Sri Rupa Goswami has defined Raganuga Bhakti as spontaneous attraction for something while completely absorbed in thoughts of it, with an intense desire of love. Devotional service executed with such feelings of spontaneous love is called Raganuga Bhakti. Devotional service under the heading of Raganuga can be further divided into two categories. One category is called sensual
Attraction.
and the other is called relationship. In this connection,
Sensual attraction, Kama Rupa, other relationship, that is Sambandha Rupa. Okay, now let us see 274 and 275. That is there in the next paragraph, other next paragraph. Now what Narad Muni says, let us see, 7th canto. तथा हि सप्तमे कामद्वेषाद् भयात् स्नेहात् यथा भक्तेश्वरे मनः आवेश्य तदघं हित्वा बहवस्तद्गतिं गतः गोप्यकामाद् भयात् कंसो द्वेषाश्चैद्यादयो नृपः सम्बन्धात् वृष्णयः स्नेहा यूयं भक्त्या वयं विभो. Now there are two types of Ragatmika Bhakti, which is there in the 7th canto. Now let us see. This is actually 7th canto, 1st chapter, 30th verse. The first verse which has been put into 74, that is the 30th verse. Just as by Vaidhi Bhakti, one can attain one's spiritual goals, many persons have attained suitable forms according to the type of absorption. After absorbing their minds in the Lord out of lust, hatred, fear, and affection, and after giving up their sinful mentality, in the case of hatred and fear. Now see, there is an absorption. Now here Narad Muni is speaking this. He says, in Vaidhi Bhakti, people attain spiritual goals. In the same way, in Ragatmika Bhakti, they attain a suitable form. What are the types of absorption they have? Sometimes they have it out of lust, sometimes out of hatred, sometimes out of fear, sometimes out of affection. Now, hatred and fear, even if they have it for Krishna, still they will be purified. Then the next verse he says, my dear King Yudhishthir, the gopis by their conjugal desires, Kamsa by his fear, Shishupal by envy, Vrishnis of Raja by the relationship of Krishna, you Pandavas by your great affection for Krishna, and we Narada here by our Vaidhi Bhakti have obtained the mercy of Krishna. So now here Narada Muni tells to Yudhishthir Maharaj that you Pandavas, you have got natural love for Krishna because he is a family member. And we, that is here Narada tells to himself, we have developed that by our devotional service. And that is because of the mercy of Krishna. So by devotional service, by following certain process, by following rules and regulations, also you develop love for Krishna. One, because you are family member of Krishna, automatically you will love. In that also category is there. The gopis, they have lust for Krishna, lusty desires, to fulfill his lusty desires. Kamsa, wherever he used to see Krishna. At the time, he cannot forget Krishna. But you cannot call it as a love, but you can call it as a negative love. That means you are not able to forget that person. So actually, hatred and love, they are the two opposite sides of the same coin. Now, Shishupal, he had so much of enviousness to Krishna. Vrishnis, they are family members of Krishna. So you all belong to the Vrishni Parivara, he says. But somehow, there is a verse which says, Tasmat kenapi upayena mana Krishna niveshaya. Somehow love Krishna. Even if you hate also, no problem. Somehow get connected to Krishna. Automatically our sinful tendency will get cured. But nowadays we don't have that type of Kamsa who is hating, that means who is seeing Krishna in everything. What people do, they accept Krishna for some time, then they will reject also. They'll accept, they will reject. Sometimes they'll accept, sometimes they will reject. But one cannot even become Kamsa in this material world. Now what yoga is going on, one cannot even become Kamsa. So here, very nicely it has been said, somehow keep your mind in Krishna. Okay, read the verses.
In this
Read
connection,
yeah.
in this connection, there is a statement by Narada Muni to Yudhishthira in the 7th canto, 1st chapter, verse 30 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. There, Narada says, "My dear king, there are many devotees who first become attracted to the personality of Godhead for purposes of sense gratification, from being envious of him, out of fear of him, or from desiring to associate affectionately with him. Ultimately, these attractions became freed from all material contamination, and gradually the worshipper develops spiritual love and achieves the ultimate goal of life desired by the pure devotee. The gopis may be considered to be examples of spontaneous love in sensual attraction. The gopis are young girls and Krishna is a young boy. Superficially, it seems that the gopis are attracted to Krishna on the ground of sex. Similarly, King Kamsa was attracted to Krishna because of fear. Kamsa was always fearful of Krishna because it had been foretold that his sister's son, Krishna, would kill him. Shishupala was also always envious of Krishna, and the descendants of King Yadu, due to their family relationship with Krishna, were always thinking of him as one of their members. All of these different kinds of devotees have a spontaneous attraction for Krishna in different categories, and they
Yes.
achieve the same desired goal of life.
Yes. Yes. So they have spontaneous attraction for Krishna.
Mataji,
Hmm.
is Vaidhi Bhakti different than Bhakti in some mood?
Something in
Is Vaidhi Bhakti different from Bhakti in some mood, like in the Madhurya Bhav or in the Sakya Bhav?
Vaidhi Bhakti cannot even understand what is Madhurya Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti stops till Nishtha. Bhava Prema, that is a time where you understand your that mood comes. That is your Swarupa Siddhi. Swarupa Siddhi is only in the Bhava Prema. When anarthas are there, Adau Shraddha, Tatha Sadhu Sangha, bhajana kriya, anartha nivrutti. Then comes nishtha. Nishtha means fixed up in devotional service. Till that time, this is all coming in the category of sadhana. In that sadhana, still a person cannot understand his swarupa siddhi. But in that sadhana becomes paripakva. He attains the stage of raganuga, where he tries to follow one, like he's attracted to Yashoda's love. He'll try to follow Yashoda's love. Still, his Sarupa Siddhi is not understood. But his love has become so intense that he spontaneously does for Krishna by following one of the Brajavasis. Now, where we are, Anartha Nivrutti stage, Nishtha. Afterwards starts Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema. In that Bhava stage, one understands his Swarupa. And then he is eager to see Krishna. That is Prema.
So why did Narada say that we, by our Vedi Bhakti, have attained the mercy of Krishna?
Yeah, because in the previous life, Narada was the son of a maid servant. And there he did his bhakti, Vaidhi Bhakti, like serving the spiritual master, taking the remnants. So Vaidhi Bhakti was done. It's not that he had followed some Brajavasis. No, Vaidhi Bhakti was done. And then afterwards, when he heard the Lord appeared for a small moment, and he wanted to see Lord again. Now the attraction developed, that nishtha developed. Yes, I want to see now. So that is how in the next life he has that deep love for Krishna. That is why he says we are from Vaidhi Bhakti. We have started from Vaidhi Bhakti.
So is it appropriate to say that Gopis, Kamsa, Shishupal, Vrishnis, and Pandavas are higher order devotees when compared to Narada?
Yeah, they are family members, na?
So even
They are all
Shishupal,
coming in the family
Shishupal,
members.
so
Shishupal
Shishupal
also
is
coming family members. All come in that Leela only, na? Narada is a Mahajana. You cannot compare. Now, when you are which way you are going to compare? See, love cannot be compared. Everybody has love. Somebody has love because of some relationship. Somebody like example, you are my son. Spontaneously, you have love for me. Okay? Because you are related to me. Okay? There is somebody who also loves like mother. Then he is trying to follow you. So it becomes Raganuga. You become the Ragatmika. Just a small example like him.
Achha.
Somebody
Ragatmika and Raganuga.
By following. So he also has that love. He has that intense eagerness to serve. He may not be the family member, but he has an intense eager to serve. And then it so happens somebody doesn't have that spontaneous, but he has respect. He has slowly gets connected like that. Then you can understand. It's not so easy to understand. Kamsa, family member, uncle, hates Krishna. Even to hate Krishna also, it is a bhagya.
But it is said na, ki it has to be anukulena sankalpa.
That is we should follow anukulena sankalpa. Krishna can have somebody like Krishna can make Kamsa hate him, not a problem. If Krishna has to do that leela.
Okay.
Okay. 276, 277, right? Anukulya viparyasat भीति देवसौ पराहतौ स्नेहस्य सख्या वाचित्वात् वैदभक्ति अनुवर्तिता किं वा प्रेमाभिधायित्वान् नोपयोगोऽत्र साधने भक्त्या वयमिति व्यक्तं वैदि भक्ते उदीरिता. So, anukulya viparyasyat. Because fear and hatred are not favorable, they are rejected as modes of bhakti. Now, what question you asked? How can fear and hatred be included in bhakti? They are not favorable. That is why they are not included in the modes of bhakti. Though we say Kamsa did not forget Krishna for even for a bit of second, but still we are not going to follow Kamsa because we cannot follow Kamsa. Even to hate a person like this also, that also we cannot do. But they are not included in the modes of bhakti because anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam. Now can say anukulyena Krishna anushilanam bhakti uttama. Now affection, sneha of the Pandavas, if it means friendliness, sakhya, belongs to Vaidhi bhakti because the sakhya is predominated by veneration. If sneha means prema or a stage of prema, it still could not be admitted here as a topic is sadhana bhakti. In the phrase bhakta vayam, and we the sages Narada attain befitting goals of bhakti. Bhakti means Vaidhi bhakti. Bhakti refers to Vaidhi bhakti. Now you are seeing. Little, very, can say, tricky topic here, 276 and 277, where attraction of the gopis, okay, affection of the members, they are all accepted as sadhana. They are all accepted as raganuga. That means spontaneous. Spontaneous. Now, what is comes on to Krishna? Fear, attraction of Shishupal, enviousness. But they cannot be accepted in devotional service because their attitude is not favorable. So it is said, devotional service means it should be executed only in favorable frame of mind. You cannot have an hatred to a person and do devotional service. Impossible. So they are not categorized. Though here Narada is speaking to Shishupal that somehow they were remembering Krishna, but we are not to follow that. So when you say platform of friendship, what is the platform of friendship? That means you are loving Krishna in the mode of Sakhya. And same thing, suppose, but if it is on the platform of sadhana, that is regulatory principles, then that is not called spontaneous love. Spontaneous love cannot happen if you are following some rules and regulations. That means what? You should not follow rules and regulations. To understand that spontaneous love, slowly, to get that maturity, one has to follow. Like waking up early in the morning, chanting the holy name of Krishna. One has to do that because that type of spontaneous love for Krishna is not there. So we have to do that. So suppose somebody is doing it without being forced to do that, that is known as spontaneous love. That is known as Raganuga Bhakti. In Raganuga Bhakti, following rules and regulations doesn't come because he is crossed that rules and regulations. Like you go to some Babaji in Vrindavan who is chanting whole day and you say, Babaji, are you chanting 16 rounds every day? He'll look at you. Where I have stopped chanting? So this type of regulation is only for conditioned souls like us. So that at least we start chanting 16 rounds. Slowly, the tongue is trained and we don't stop chanting. So you should understand there what is the meaning of sadhana bhakti, in which Vaidhi bhakti is one category. In that sadhana bhakti, where sadhana means your practice, where Raganuga bhakti is one of the category. In that Raganuga bhakti, there is a spontaneous that you don't have to, somebody has to be told, please come for seva. Somebody out of it does it. Like you find something kachara, you take a broom in the temple, you start brooming. Somebody has to be called. So how that spontaneous love, and it is not necessary it should come only at some age. Somebody is born with that spontaneous love. Wherever he thinks, he is only thinking about Krishna. So sometimes that type of abhasa is also there. Why? Because of some previous life bhakti. In that, because of previous life bhakti, he is born with that sukruti. Like wherever he sees, he will see Krishna, he will play about Krishna. All the time, Krishna, 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 he will turn. But you cannot still say they are in the category of raganuga. Some abhas is there. That has to be nourished. Slowly, slowly has to be nourished. Because it can go away because of some outside influences. But if you really want to mature such type of love, you have to nourish that love. So that spontaneous love always remains for Krishna. Okay. Vandana Mataji, read.
Hare Krishna. Namaste, Mataji. The attraction of gopis for Krishna and the affection of the members of Yadu dynasty are both accepted as spontaneous or raganuga. The attraction of...
Yeah. Your voice is not coming. You are muted, you are saying. Unmute.
Mataji, there all of a sudden some music coming outside. It's okay if I read?
No, we are not
The
able to
attraction
hear.
of Kamsa to Krishna in fear and attraction of Shishupal in envy are not accepted as devotional service. However, because their attitudes are not favorable, devotional service should be executed only in favorable frame of mind. Therefore, according to Sri Rupa Goswami, such attractions are not considered to be in devotional service. Again, he analyzes the affection of the Yadus. If it is on the platform of friendship, then it is spontaneous love. But if it is on the platform of regulative principle, then it is not. And only when affection comes to the platform of spontaneous love, it is to be counted in the category of pure devotional service.
There was a king known as Vena, Pruthumara's father, Vena. He was having so much of hatred to Krishna. But still, his hatred, and if you see Kamsa's hatred, or Shishupal's hatred, they cannot be compared. Why? Shishupal completely concentrated in Krishna and hated. Kamsa's concentration is also on Krishna. Vena doesn't like, but that doesn't mean a person is concentrating. In that hatred also category is there. So Vena doesn't come. Like Bali Maharaj is for Atma Nivedanam. Okay? But is there some difference between Atma Nivedanam of Rukmini and Bali Maharaj? There is, isn't it? Both are completely surrendered. But there is a surrenderance in Kama Rupa. There is a surrenderance in Sambandha Rupa. There is a surrenderance in Vaidhi Rupa. So there are different types of surrenderance. Different types of hatred also. Like I hate a person. Okay, I hardly think of him. I hate a person in such a way, I always think of him. That is negative love actually. I cannot live without him, without thinking of him. Where in this world that type of also hatred is there? Not there. So that is why Vena's hatred and Kamsa's hatred has been compared. Not that all hatred are put as a Kamsa. No. Don't degrade Kamsa's hatred by normal person's hatred. Okay.
Mataji,
270.
I have a question again.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is said, affection, sneha of Pandavas, if it means friendliness, Sakya, then it belongs to Vaidhi Bhakti because the Sakya is predominated by veneration. Veneration means that feeling where they know the power of the Lord.
Uh,
So that is not pure Sakya when compared to the Sakya of
yes.
Gopi.
What? 1 minute. Your voice cut. Tell again.
The Sakhya ras expressed by Gopas, that is also Sakhya, and Pandavas are also showing Sakhya ras. But
But that
Pandavas knew
Sakya had the
of
knowledge
Lord.
of Pandavas had knowledge that Krishna is God.
Okay, so that
And
becomes
here it
Vaidhi.
is, that becomes Vaidhi. When you have that respect is also adjoined.
But it was Lord who showed his opulence to Pandavas. They didn't ask. They didn't ask Lord to show.
That is Lord's problem and Pandava's problem. But Lord also showed opulence to Gopas. But Gopas is to think, oh, some outside negative power is affecting or what. Lord also showed opulence to Yashoda Mata, showing the whole mouth. And immediately she brought Gomutra and the Gobar and put on Krishna. Because Yogamaya did not allow the sweetness to fail before opulence.
Okay.
The sweetness predominates opulence. Like you love your son so much, even if if your son becomes the temple president or big positions, you still have the rights to scold your son. And that is known as
Am I going to get some scolding for asking questions now?
that though, repeating so. Okay. 278. Yad arinam priyanam cha prapyam ekam hivoditam tad brahma krishna yor aikyat kiranar kopamajusho. When it is said that the enemies and the dear friends of the Lord attain the same end, it means the same end only in the sense that Brahman and the personal form of Krishna are one entity, in the manner that the rays of the sun and the sun are one. Now, question is this. This is a question. If Shishupal also has got Brahma Sahuja, and the gopis, anyhow, they are all in the having the attraction for the form of Krishna, and they got the opportunity to serve Krishna. So is this the same end? Then one should say the rays of the sun and the sun is also same. So enemies and dear friends, all are getting the same. Some difference will be there. Like Putana, she also for one fraction of time, she had the desire to feed her breast milk to Vamandev when she was daughter of Bali Maharaj. Sometimes they say sister of Bali Maharaj, whatever. So when she saw Vamandev, she felt I should give, and that Vatsalya Bhava came. So Krishna fulfilled that desire. At the same time, when she saw her father is cheated by Vamandev, she now wanted to kill him. So she had this dual thing. So Krishna fulfilled dual thing. Krishna fulfilled her desire to become mother. At the same time, he allowed her to try out killing Krishna. Try out by applying poison in the breast. So now what happened? Putana is there in the eternal world, but she is not very near to Krishna. She is watching others doing the close activities to Krishna. That is her gati, what she has got. Both Yashoda Mata is also in the spiritual world. Putana is also there in the spiritual world. Now, Putana cannot come very near. Both ends are the same, but there is some difference. Okay. Read the Narayana, you read.
There may be some difficulty in understanding that both the gopis and Kamsa achieved the same goal. So this point should be clearly understood. Because the attitudes of Kamsa and Shishupal were different from that of the gopis. Although in all these cases, the focus is on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all of the devotees are elevated to the spiritual world, there is still a distinction between these two classes of souls. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that this absolute truth is one and he is manifested as impersonal Brahman, Paramatma, Super Soul, and Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here is a spiritual distinction. Although Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan are the same and one absolute truth, devotees like Kamsa or Shishupal could attain only to the Brahman effulgence. They could not have realization of Paramatma or Bhagavan. That is the distinction.
So they get up to Brahma Sahujya. That means they can realize Brahman only, but not they cannot understand who is Paramatma, who is Bhagavan. That type of closeness cannot come. Okay, read further.
An analogy can be given with the sun globe and the sunshine. To remain in the sunshine does not mean one has gone to the sun globe. The temperature of the sun globe is different from the temperature of sunshine. One has gone through the sunshine in jet planes or in spaceships, has not necessarily gone to the sun globe. Although the sunshine and the sun globe are actually one and the same, still there is a distinction. For one is the energy and one is the energetic source. The absolute truth and his bodily effulgence are in the same way simultaneously one and different. Kamsa and Shishupal attained to the absolute truth, but they were not allowed to enter into the Golok Vrindavan abode. Impersonalists and the enemies of the Lord are, because of the attraction to God, allowed to enter into his kingdom, but they are not allowed to enter into the Vaikuntha planets or the Golok Vrindavan planet of the Supreme Lord. To enter the kingdom and to enter the king's palace are not the same thing.
So to enter the kingdom, enter the king's palace is not the same thing. Very important. See, we may be in the kingdom, we may be in Modi's rule, but we have not got that fortune to enter his house, to enter his kitchen. So there, what type of somebody really may be loving Modi very nicely, serving him very nicely, but everybody will not get that fortune of becoming his cook and sometimes scolding him. In the Sakya, you scold him and deeply you love. क्या है आपकी तरफ देखते नहीं हो? हाँ, खाना वाना खाते नहीं हो? पूरा दिन काम काम काम. Somebody has a right to tell that. So service is done by many, but that nearness is only got by fortune. Nearness, you have the right to scold. No problem. But still that love will be there. Somebody scolds and goes, you'll go and give one slap and come. You don't hear everyone scolding, isn't it? You will only hear few people scolding. Why? You like that person. You have real love for that person. That is why you like it. Not that somebody comes and that means you're not a murti, everybody scolds you and you just hear it. No. The same way, in the kingdom, there is everybody will be present in the kingdom, but somebody can enter the palace. Okay, 279. So we are speaking about Ragatmika Bhaktas. Ragatmika Bhaktas. In that Ragatmika Bhaktas, Kama Rupa, Sambandha Rupa. But in that Sambandha Rupa, we are eliminating Kamsa, Shishupal. Why? That doesn't come in the category of Bhaktas. Anukulyasya is not there. Now 279. Brahmani valayam yanti prayena ripavo hare kechit prapyapi sarupya bhasam machanti tat sukhe. The enemies of the Lord generally merge into impersonal Brahman. So what is the gati? Kamsa, what was his gati? He merged into impersonal Brahman. Some of them, even though they attain semblance of a form similar to the Lord's Sarupya Bhasam, remain absorbed in the happiness of Brahman. Now see, there is something known as Sahujya. Something is known as Sarupya Abhasam. May look like Lord. Abhasam. Abhasam means may look like Lord, but still is attracted to Brahman effulgence. What is it, Brahman effulgence? He is not much attracted to the personal form of Lord. He knows Lord is powerful. Okay? But still he is not attracted to that. Lord has lot of powers. He knows that. But he is not attracted to that powerful person. That personal touch is not there. He may have respect. Where it comes to Brahma Sayujya, their Brahman realization, you have respect. Paramatma, slowly you start understanding that there is Lord sitting in everyone's heart. When it comes to Bhagavan, you know Krishna is a person. So that is one. Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. So one may look similar, but still they are absorbed in the happiness of Brahman. Okay, read. Gadadhar Prabhu, please read.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Srila Rupa Goswami is trying here to describe the different achievements of the impersonalists and the personalists. Generally, those who are impersonalists and are inimical to the Supreme Personality of Godhead get entrance only into the impersonal Brahman. When and if they reach spiritual perfection, the impersonalist philosophers are in one sense like the enemies of the Lord, because the out and out of enemies of all the Lord and the impersonalists are both allowed to enter only into the impersonal effulgence of the Brahmajyoti. So it is to be understood that they are of similar classification. And actually the impersonalists are enemies of God because they cannot tolerate the unparalleled opulence of the Lord. They try always to place themselves on the same level with the Lord. That is due to their envious attitude. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has proclaimed the impersonalists to be offenders of the Lord. The Lord is so kind, however, that even though they are his enemies, they are still allowed to enter into the spiritual kingdom and remain in the impersonal Brahmajyoti, the undifferentiated light of the absolute.
No, yeah, read that other small paragraph also.
Okay. Sometime an impersonalist may gradually elevate himself to the personal conception of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita confirms this. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me. By such surrender, an impersonalist can be elevated to the Vaikuntha Loka, spiritual planet, where as a surrendered soul, he attains bodily features like those of the Lord. Right.
So now in these two paragraphs about the impersonalists have been told that impersonalists, that they don't have faith in the personal form of Lord, that they are offenders. They are offenders. But still impersonalists also, they can attain till the impersonal effulgence only. It has been given very clearly. But somehow, because of some mercy of devotees, they understand the personal conception, and slowly they become the surrendered souls of Lord. Okay, 280th verse. तथा च ब्रह्मांडे पुराणे सिद्धलोकस्तु तमसः पारे यत्र वसन्ति सिद्ध ब्रह्म सुखे मग्ना दैत्याश्च हरिणा हताः. Siddhaloka is beyond Prakriti. There demons killed by Krishna. Some sages dwell. merge the happiness of Brahman. Now, what will be the gati of the demons killed by Krishna? The touched by Krishna, na? What a fortune. So they go to Siddhalokas. Sages, they do a lot of tapasya, they also get Siddhalokas. Okay. Read further, Prabhu. Gadadhar
Hare
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. In the Brahmanda Purana, it is stated, those who have achieved liberation from material contamination of, and those who are demons and are killed by the supreme personality of Godhead become absorbed in the Brahman concept of life and reside in spiritual sky of the Brahmajyoti. The spiritual sky is far beyond the material sky, and it is confirmed also in Bhagavad Gita that beyond this material sky there is another eternal sky. The enemies and the impersonalists may be allowed to enter into this Brahman effulgence, but the devotees of Krishna are promoted all the way to the spiritual planets. Because the pure devotees have developed a spontaneous love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are allowed to enter into the spiritual planets to enjoy spiritual bliss in association with the Supreme Personality of God.
Okay. In this only 281 is also included. So I'll read the 281. Ragavandena kenapi tam bhajanto vrajantiyami angri padma shuddha prema rupastasya priyajanaha. Those persons most devoted to the Lord, who are the very form of prema and who worship him with intense spontaneous absorption, attain the nectar of his lotus feet. For reference has been told, devotees who love deeply, they attain his personal form, they attain the nectar of his lotus feet. Those who are having enviousness, they can go up to Brahmajyoti, Siddhaloka. Those who are killed by Krishna, Siddhaloka. Those who are sages who are meditating upon, they also get Siddhaloka in this way. Okay, now 282. Any doubts till here? Adibol? Till here, any doubts? Now you can ask
No,
why they are
Mataji.
getting, huh? Yes.
No, Mataji.
No, no. Why they are getting Siddhaloka? They're touched by Krishna. That also fortune, na? To get the touch of Krishna. That's also fortune. Now 282.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sorry. Mataji, when they like Putna, Shishupal comes and they go to the same loka where others are there, but do their tendency, their attitude remains the same or it changes?
No. Now because it said na hatred and fear because of getting attached to Krishna, automatically sinful tendencies go away. Attitude will change. That will go. It is focused on Krishna, so naturally it will go away. तथा हि श्रीदशमे निभृत्तमरुन्मनो क्ष दृढ योगयुजो हृदयन् मुनयः उपासते तद् अरयोः अपि यहु स्मरणाद् स्त्रिय उरगेन्द्र भोग भुज दंड विसक्तधियो वयम् अपि ते समाः समादृशो अंघ्रि सरोज शुद्धः. 10th canto speaks about this. Just by thinking about him, the enemies of the Lord, they attain Brahman. Sages fixed in yoga worship, they also attain Brahman. Similarly, we Shrutis, now all the Shrutis are speaking, Vedas are speaking, adopting a mood similar to gopis and finally attaining similar bodies will achieve the same nectar of your lotus feet. That your concerts are able to relish because of the loving attractions to your mighty serpentine arms. Now Shruti, there were Shrutichari gopis also, 4 sets of gopis were there. Nitya Siddha gopis, in the rasa, when Krishna is playing the Venu, 4 sets of gopis are attracted. Who could take part? Nitya Siddha gopis could take part. Sadhana Siddha gopis also could take part. Devachari gopis also could take part. Sadhanachari gopis could take part only mentally, not physically. Devachari gopis could go. But sadhana siddha gopis, they were remembering Krishna to such an extent, they were burning with an intense separation. Shrutichari gopis, the Vedas wanted to relish what the gopis are enjoying, what Bhakya gopis are having. So Shruti also felt, even we are writing about gopis, let us also take the mood of the gopis and relish that conjugal pastime. They also became the gopis. So in this way, here the difference has been shown. Enemies, what they are getting, and one who really wants to follow the Ragatmika Bhaktas, what they get. Okay, read from here. Jumur, read.
Yes, Mataji.
In the 10th canto, 87th chapter, verse 23 of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Vedas personified address the Lord in this way. My dear Lord, yogis meditate upon your localized feature and thus they achieve the spiritual perfection of being merged in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. Persons who treat you as an enemy achieve the same perfection without meditating. The gopis who are embraced by your serpentine hands and who have such lusty attitudes also achieve the same perfection. And as far as we are concerned, being different demigods in charge of different parts of Vedic knowledge, we are always following in the footsteps of the gopis. Thus, we hope to attain the same perfection. By the same perfection, we must always remember the example of the sun and the sunshine. Those who are impersonalists can merge into the sunshine like Brahmajyoti, whereas those who are in love with the Supreme Person enter into the supreme abode of the Lord Golok Vrindavan. The lusty. Should I read further, Mataji?
No, wait. So those who are impersonalists can merge into the sunshine like Brahmajyoti. Those who are in love will enter the supreme abode of Lord Goloka Vrindavan. Now 283. 283. Tatra Kamarupa Sa Kamarupa Hambhoga Trishna Nanayati Swatam Yad Asyam Krishna Saukhyartham Eva Kevalam Udyamaha. So here is the definition of Kamarupa Ragatmika Bhaktas. That type of bhakti with full absorption in the beloved is called Kamarupa Bhakti. The topmost is a Kamarupa, which produces an intrinsic thirst for a conjugal relationship with the Lord in the Atma. It is called Bhakti because in that condition there is only eagerness for giving pleasure to Krishna. So this type of conjugal love is not the mundane attraction of the boys and girls of this material world. This eagerness is to give pleasure to Krishna. And for that, the beloved is ready to do anything and everything because the whole mood is, I should keep Krishna in a nice, happy condition. When Krishna asked Narada, please get me the dust of the pure devotees, my headache will go away. Narada did not dare to give. Narada went to all the queens of Dwarka. They were also not ready to give our dust at the two on Krishna's forehead. Brahma, Shiva, they also did not give. But when Narada goes to gopis and say, Krishna's head is paining, now what is the solution? Dust of the feet. It will take how much you want to go on taking. So that is the power of Krishna, power of love. The love is so intense that the consequences are not thought of. Oh, if I give my dust, Krishna applies on the forehead, what type of sins I will be doing? Everybody thought, but not the gopis. Okay. 280. Continue, Jumar.
Yes. The lusty attitude of the gopis does not refer to any sort of sex indulgence. Srila Rupa Goswami explains that this lusty desire refers to the devotee's particular attitude of association with Krishna. Every devotee in his perfectional stage has a spontaneous attraction to the Lord. This attraction is sometimes called the lusty desire of the devotee. The lust is the devotee's excessive desire to serve the Lord in a particular capacity. Such a desire may seem to be a desire for enjoying the Lord, but actually, the endeavor is to serve the Lord in that capacity. For example, a devotee may be desiring to associate with the personality of Godhead as his cowherd friend. He will want to serve the Lord by assisting him in controlling the cows in the pasturing ground. This may appear to be a desire to enjoy the company of the Lord, but actually it is spontaneous love serving him by assisting in managing the transcendental cows.
Yes. Now, sensual attraction. 284. Iyam tu braja devishu suprasiddha virajate asam prema visheshoyam praptah kamapi madhurim tattat krida nidanatvat kamaiti uchyate budaihi. Kamarupa Bhakti appears with brilliance in the women of Braja. They have a particular type of prema which has a special sweetness. It is called kama by the wise because it is the cause of various amorous actions. So that type of love, this kama rupa, maddened form. In that, what they are saying, see, yette sujata charanam buraham staneshu peta shanai priyadadi महितर्कशेषु तेनाटवे मटसि तद्व्यततेन किं स्वे कूर्पादिभिर्भ्रमति तीर्भवद् आयुषं नः. See, better place your feet on our breast. See, you're walking where? On the thorny bushes. Oh, if you place on our breast is so hard. It may hurt your lotus feet. Now just see how much care. Is it not a maddened form of love? Our life rests only in you. Our mind therefore are filled with anxiety that your tender feet might be wounded by pebbles as you roam about on the forest path. So what to do? You are roaming there. We are always. Now they are also roaming. Now is it not that gopis are roaming in the thorny bushes? But they are not worried about themselves. They are worried about Krishna to such an extent. The whole day they are thinking about Krishna. They are also walking on the thorny bushes and they are thinking, oh Krishna, why are you walking there? Better is you place your feet on our breast and you walk. But our breast is also so hard. Just see the love they have for Krishna. So this is Kama Rupa, Kamatmika Prema. Okay, read. We'll read now. Sudha Mataji, you read.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। आप अपना म्यूट करिए।
Sensual attraction.
Yes, ma'am.
I think your voice is coming two times. Vaishnav Gaur Prabhu, you read. Some problem in your net. Vaishnav Gaur Prabhu, please read.
ऑफ करिए ना।
Sudha, your voice is not coming good. Better mute it. Ha, read.
Hare Krishna, sensual attraction. This extreme desire to serve the Lord is manifest in the transcendental land of Braja, and it is specifically manifested among the gopis. The gopis' love for Krishna is so elevated that for our understanding, it is sometimes explained as being lusty desire. Hare Krishna. आगे पढ़ो मैं?
285th. Wait. तथा च तंत्रे प्रेमैव गोपरामानां काम इति अगमत् प्रथम. Tantra say, what they say, the Kama Rupa Bhakti of the gopis has become famous simply as prema. Simple. What is prema? What is the highest definition? Love of the gopis. Simple. That is prema. Okay, read.
The author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kaviraj Krishnadas, has explained the distinction between lusty desire and the service attitude in this statement. Lusty desire refers to the desire to gratify one's personal senses, and transcendental desire refers to the desire for serving the senses of the Lord. In the material world, there is no such thing as a lover's wanting to please the senses of his beloved. Actually, in the material world, everyone wants mainly to gratify his own personal senses. The gopis, however, wanted nothing at all but to gratify the senses of the Lord. And there is no instance of this in the material world. Therefore, the gopis' ecstatic love for Krishna is sometimes described by scholars as being like the lusty desire of the material world. But actually, this should not be taken as a literal fact. It is simply a way of trying to understand the transcendental situation.
Okay. 286. Iti Uddhavadayo api etam vanchati bhagavat priyaha. And because it is a form of exalted prema, persons such as Uddhava, dear to the Lord, desire that aspect of it. Lord intentionally sends Uddhava to Vraja. When he comes to Vrindavan, he is surprised to see this type of love. When he asked the address of Nanda Baba, they said, this stream, this water stream, wherever it starts, that is their house. And what was that water stream? The tears. So that much love. And when he met the gopis, he was shocked to see the prema of the gopis. And he also wants that type of. That is why Uddhava says, let me be a creeper in Vrindavan. That Uddhava Kund is there, where he says, let me be always a creeper here. Okay, read.
Great devotees up to the standard of Uddhava are very dear friends of the Lord, and they desire to follow in the footsteps of the gopis. So the gopis' love for Krishna is certainly not material lusty desire. Otherwise, how could Uddhava aspire to follow in their footsteps? Another instance is Lord Chaitanya himself. After accepting the sannyas order of life, he was very, very strict about avoiding association with women. But still he taught that there is no better method of worshipping Krishna than that conceived by the gopis. Thus the gopis' method of worshipping the Lord as if impelled by lusty desire was praised very highly even by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This very fact means that although the attraction of the gopis for Krishna appears to be lusty, it is not in the least bit material. Unless one is fully situated in the transcendental position, the relationship of the gopis with Krishna is very difficult to understand. But because it appears to be just like ordinary dealings of young boys and girls, it is sometimes misinterpreted to be like the ordinary sex of this material world. Unfortunately, persons who cannot understand the transcendental nature of the love affairs of the gopis and Krishna take it for granted that Krishna's love affairs with the gopis are mundane transactions. And therefore, they sometimes indulge in painting licentious picture in some modernistic style.
Yeah. So it's not so easy to attain that gopi bhava for Krishna. It's not so easy. Not that all love is the same. Everybody has a particular type of love. Now, even if we compare in this material world, everyone's concern and love differs from relation to relation. But here, what is the driving force is lust. If you see pure love, there also dealings differ. So gopis dealing with Krishna is completely different. Uddhava cannot even think about it. Hanuman is somewhere far only. Hanuman can even never come also near. He can never even understand also what is Gopi's love for Krishna. That is Dasya Bhava. Arjuna also one time wanted to become Gopi. Lord Shiva wanted to become Gopi. Became Gopeshwar Mahadev. But still it's not so easy to become Gopi. Everybody wants to become Gopi, but it's not so easy to become Gopi. Okay, 287th verse. Kama praya rati kintu kubjayameva sammata. But the wise agree that the attraction to Krishna seen in Kubja is essentially due to Kama. Now see, Kubja, she was a hunchback. She had a hunchback. Even she had love. Like that cannot be compared to gopis. Now see here, the Kubja had a prominence of Kama is evident in her. But that actions are not the same of the pure prema of the gopis. Yatte sujata charanam burastanishu. What they are saying, oh Lord, you keep on our breast, but we are having that fear that we may hurt you. Now, what did Kubja say? Tato rupa guna adarya sampanna prayaha praha keshavam uttariyantam akarshaha smayanti jatahrichaya. Now, endowed with beauty, character, and generosity, Trivikraha means she was having three foldings, hunchback, began to feel lusty desires for Krishna. Taking hold of the end of his upper clothes, she smiled. So she is said to have rati to a small degree. She had some attraction, but that cannot be compared to the gopis. Like there is a hero. He goes out. People are very attracted. Some want to have some conjugal love with him. His wife is there at house. Can it be in the same level? No. The wife is concerned. She's concerned about him. She is not having that lusty desire. This is also Kama Rupa, that is also Kama Rupa. But there is a difference in Kama Rupa. There's a lot of difference. Even in this material world, we can find there is a degree of all this having differences. Okay. Last paragraph, please.
On the other hand, the lusty desire of Kubja is described by learned scholars as being almost lusty desire. Kubja was a hunchbacked woman who also wanted Krishna with a great ecstatic love, but her desire for Krishna was almost mundane, and so her love cannot be compared to the love of the gopis. Her loving affection for Krishna is called Kama Praya, or almost like the gopis' love for Krishna.
Yes. May look like some people like to wear gopi dress and say we are gopis, we are gopis. Now it's not so easy to become gopi. It's not so easy to love a person like gopis. Loving Krishna like gopis can be attained only by gopis' mercy. It's not so easy to become gopis. Because they are not, that love is not having any desire for sexual attractions. No, that type of lust is not there. Love is there, but that deepened love, that for Krishna, ready to do anything and everything. Okay, Hare Krishna. Any doubts? No doubts. Nainu yes. Nainu, what she's going to say today?
Hare Krishna. I have learned Vishnu Sahasranam. Shuklam Vardharam Vishnu Shachivarnam Prasannavarnam Dhyaye Sarva Vignu Prashantayet Vyasam Vishishtanavtaram Sakte Pautamakalmasam Parasharatmajam Vande Shukatatam Patonidhim Vasaya Vishnu Rupaya Yasa Rupaya Vishnave Namo Brahmanidhe Namo Vai Brahmanidhe Vashisthaya Namo Namaha Adhikaraya Siddhaya Nityaya Jagannathmane Atmane Sadai Karu Vishnave Prabha Vishnave Om Namo Vishnave Prabha Vishnave
Vaishampayana Uvacha. Activity. Sasnam. Very good. Wonderful. Manchagalpatarubhasya.
Panchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhyev cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Who is watching you? Mama is seeing. Gautam Bhaiya is seeing. All are seeing you. Haribol.
But Krishna is taking me.
Okay. Haribol.
कौन माता जी प्रवचन